Hi, today we're going to work with dynamic CSS classes. What this means is amazing. So let's look at this. We have this account overview, and as you can see, we have different colors. We have green when we're getting money, such as a refund, lottery, or whatever. And we have red when we are spending money, right? Like Bank of America, ATM fees, Wized, rent, MacBook Air, all of that. And the cool thing about this is all done using a CSS class, meaning that if I turn this around and actually Wized would pay me some money, let's just make them pay me, let's look at that, and I would re-render that, we will see that now Wized is green. Isn't that amazing? And how this is working is we're not setting colors, which is a clunky thing. We're actually just applying a combo class. If we go to Webflow, we see we have the combo class isExpense, which will just make it red. And we have the combo class isIncome, which will make it green. So it is like a bookkeeping system, or it can be used for an account summary when you're dealing with payments. For example, our friends at the black market, sounds bad, I know, but our friends at the black market may want to use that when you are spending and getting money, when you're getting invoices out, invoices in, selling templates, paying for templates. That may be an interesting thing for them to look into as well. But until now, it is something interesting for you to look into. Perfect. So we are just applying this combo classes on top of there. Very simple. We're just going to render a list. So we just apply the Wized attribute of transaction item with Wized cloak true, and the true doesn't make anything. I'll just add true on there because I'm insane today. The true is not getting recognized by anything. It doesn't have any effect adding the true in there, yes or no. I'll just do that because I think it looks so lonely. Like the Wized cloak looks a bit lonely if there's just an empty. Oh God, that's not supposed to happen. Let's just add the true in here. Perfect. Perfect. So, and then we just have the Wized attribute with the name on the name and the Wized attribute for the transaction amount for the amount. And that's all the setup we already have. That's it. And now in Wized, we are going to get the transactions. So we're going to do the request to get the transactions from our API. Perfect. And now we're just going to render the list. So we're applying on the list item, the one without any class. Keep in mind, the default style is without any class, right? And now we're going to go to this item and we're going to render a list on this template item from our array. Perfect. And now we're going to set the expense class. So on the same item now, we're going to set the class isExpense. Going to add this class isExpense. If amount, first of all, we're going to define the amount. You could just work with this directly, but I think that's kind of like a long way of doing that while having like a very long line, which is not really best practices. So what we're going to do here, we're going to do amount. We're going to let amount equal the iteration of the amount. So when we're going to render an array, we get this amount. We take this one and we're going to apply our v iterator so that it is linked to the list in here. Because why does that work? If I'm going to render the list, I designate the v iterator to this list. So meaning I can reference with v iterator that is linked to this list throughout the list items to get the information from the list item because we have applied the v iterator on this list. Makes sense, right? Very simple. So if the amount in here in this iteration includes a minus, meaning it is an expense, we're going to do it red, like with the Bank of America. And if it is income, we're doing the same thing, but just looking for a plus, and then we're going to apply the class isIncome to it, which will make it green, like the money that Wized is refunding us in this case, for example. Perfect. And then we're just going to set the merchant name. Again, referencing using dot notation for the merchant name. So referencing in here, but then using the v iterator, which is linked to the list, so that we get the iteration of that. We don't want to have Wized. We want to have Wized, FinStreet, Bank of America, ATM fees, lottery, rent, everything, all of that. So that's why we're going to use the v iterator that is linked to this list that we're going to render. Perfect. We're going to do the same thing with the amount. It is really the same setup, just now referencing dot amount, and of course having the v iterator in there as well to get this information from each list iteration. And yeah, this is the whole secret that is going on in here. And this is how you're going to set dynamic classes for your lists. This gets super handy if you're going to have like everything with payments. You know, people know, okay, red is out, green is good and coming in. So if you're going to build a dashboard or anything like this, it will be super handy to use that, so that maybe people can spend their credits, they can receive credits, and then maybe they can pay out their credits, and then we could even do like a third class in here that is maybe like yellow, where people do a transfer to their bank account of the credits. Really, the possibilities for this use case with the classes it's just endless. And the nice thing is of not changing the colors, of changing the classes, it is more of a best practice approach. And combo classes in Webflow allow us to do that at a wonderful best practice approach, because just changing the colors would be not a more or less a static thing, if that makes sense. Changing the colors is manipulating each item in here. Changing the class is changing the whole style of it, which is one step. Everything else would be, like in this case, 3 steps. With the border that is colorful too, it would be even 4 steps. So this is just one step and we're going to change it. So this is really a good best practice approach, and you maybe even get that down to only one function if you use a run function and some custom JavaScript and maybe a little bit of jQuery, but this is the low/no code solution. If you want anything more complicated to get this done in one action, let me know and I can make a video on that as well, because Wized's JavaScript API is amazing to work with this as well. Thank you so much for watching this. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate all your nice comments and all your DMs I'm getting, and I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much, and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.